Welcome everyone to Thursday, January 22nd, as I cough. and and so I was sharing with Tracy my story about going to a cranial sacral massage therapist the other day, yesterday after I got home. I got home at 6:15. I was there by at 7:30. I booked it before I left. Um, I find sometimes when I'm around people, especially I'll say strangers. I was with my friend Temple and her friend Sue. So Sue was new to me. And so I had met Sue once before, and I have never spent more than like 4 or 5, maybe 8 hours, right, with at a time with Temple. And being an empath, I wasn't sure what that would do being in someone else's space. So I booked a cranial sacral massage. And the cranial sacral massage, if you look it up online, what it does is it opens up your fluid in your cranial, in your brain, your sacral, and then your spine. So it's meant to unblock basically anything energetically. And so the first time I went, I gave the therapist, the massage therapist, permission to share with me anything that she saw, felt, heard. And I said, I know that I haven't had cranial for a long time, but the therapist that used to go in North Belford loved it when I would go see her, because I was just really open, like. And I said, even if it doesn't make any sense to you, even if it feels like a dark image to you or something, don't uh, don't hold back, right? Don't restrict yourself. And so she had lots of fun the first time, being able to express herself this way. And then yesterday we went back and I said to her, same thing, like, whatever you see or feel or hear. And so there's a ritual that they go through, which I did not know, but there's a ritual they go through. So she started at my feet. So I think they start at your feet to ground you, and to open up the energy centers, the meridians in your body. And then she moved to, I think, my head. Yeah. And I don't know if they always have to, like, they have a pattern that they go to, or they go kind of like Reiki, where you go where you're called. And so she was working on my head. And they have this is what I found out, that she said she asked my inner physician to come up. She said that, and they immediately, there's I guess there's a pulse that we have. Makes sense. There's a pulse that we all have in our body. And she said the pulse started to even out, because when she first started, the pulse on my left side was stronger than my right side. And I don't know if she meant my actual pulse or the, like, right. So I didn't clarify that. So it's just accepting all the information. And so what ended up happening was, she received all of these images. And then when I said to her, I said, next time, what if you want to, you can start to play, and you can say, oh, I see a bullet train, because she saw a bullet train, or a train coming out of a tunnel. This really, really nice bright light, but it's not like a light that you would normally have on a train. And so that was one of the images. And so I said to her, next time, if you want to play more at a deeper level, you can say, and this means, right? And it naturally means this, or to me, it means this. And so I'm sharing that with you. I guess that's part of the message of what I'm supposed to share with you, which is, when you tap into your intuition, it kind of sometimes, at least for me, feels like you're just making shit up, right? Because you don't have the evidence or the proof that your logical brain wants you to, and your conditioning tells you that you need, right? It's kind of like, how do we know the sky is blue? How do you know the sky is blue? Because we've been told, right? And I had this incredible conversation with Sue, the other woman that I was with. because her son has recently been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I know nothing about schizophrenia. And so I asked her, like, what does that look like? Like, how does that affect the brain? And I was wrapped in this in a brown blanket. We were downstairs in the living room, and I was wrapped in this brown blanket. And she said, "What color is that blanket?" And so I looked down, I said, "Well, some people call it brown, some people would call it beige. Some, someone might refer to it as off-white." And then she started to laugh and she said, like, "You're the only person who actually gave more than one answer." She said, "Usually people go just like it's brown." And she said, what happens with schizophrenia, the brain tells the person that's pink. And so they're delusional or have these illusions because their brain is telling them that that's what that looks like. And I was like, that's fascinating. And so we had some incredible conversation, because that's kind of like, how do we know the sky is blue? How do we know that's blue? I know the sky is blue because my mom and dad told me that the sky was blue. What if it's like, and so I said to her, what if the sky's not really blue? What if the sky that's really pink or brown or whatever? What if we have our colors mixed up? And we kind of played this, what if, the possibilities of the what ifness. And isn't life kind of like that? We look at something and we have a perception about it. We have a belief that that behavior is good or bad, or this is right or wrong, or that is pink or blue, and it goes back to everything is an illusion. And so we take things so seriously. We take things so personally, and we get really caught up in like, this is the way to do it. And we're conditioned over and over and over and over again. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Right? This is the way it's always been done. We do this because of this. And there's so many other possibilities. So what are the other possibilities? And so part of what we have this opportunity to do in life is to seriously look at what are all of the possibilities, right? I see this and I feel this, but what else is it? What else could it be? What if it wasn't this? What if it was something completely different? And how do I know that this is the right way? This is a way. It's not the way. It is one of the many ways, for us to go from one place to the other. And so when it comes to our intuition, and it will feel like we're making things up. But the cool thing is, when you're in your life and you're having an experience and you are having a judgment, even a discernment, how do you know? We're always making shit up. And if we let go of the judgment of that, it's okay to make stuff up, right? But I don't know about you, but I grew up in a household where you can't make stuff up. You can't make stuff up. And there's lots of reasons, because that's what's the truth and what's the lie. And like this, and then there could be a whole moral compass around this. And I'm not going from a morality standpoint, but how do you actually know? Right? And we need to know, because that's our safety and security. So we can honor that. I need to know because I feel safe and secure when I know this. And then what if I didn't know? Chaos and anarchy. Like that's how our brain is programmed. Like, oh my goodness, people would have free choice and free will. What the hell would happen then? Right? It's like we were out of our conditioning. I mean, imagine the possibilities of what would happen then. And so, part of what we can do is, as we're approaching life, is just to look at it that this is one way. I'm having an experience And the opposite of that experience is also available to me because I understand and accept, I guess it's a belief too, in the universal law of polarity, that everything is created as a whole. Now, if I didn't believe in the universal law of polarity, then I would not believe that everything is possible. And am I right and the other person is wrong? No, it's just it is truly just a different experience. And so this morning in my meditation, I just had grabbed Think Yourself to Health, Wealth, and Happiness by Joseph Murphy. And as per usual, just randomly opened up a page. And this is what was written. All of us should begin to remove the old accepted viewpoints, opinions, and false beliefs implanted in our minds when we were young and impressionable. The average person thinks and expresses the thoughts of dead people. I was like, well, how about that? The next point that he has is an emotion is always the working out of an idea in your mind. And the way to overcome and discipline your unwanted emotions is not through repression or suppression. When you repress the emotion, the energy accumulates in your subconscious mind and remains snarled there. I love that word. It's snarled there. This occurs in the same manner as the pressure increases in a boiler. If you sincerely wish to transform your life and yourself of unwanted behaviors, you must watch what you think and maintain control over your mental images. Right? And so it's changing. It goes back to a belief is just a decision. If we want a new outcome, we need to change the belief, which means that we need to make a new decision. And it can be as simple as making a new decision. I do this, I believe this, I need an opposite decision, and then finding, of course, evidence for that decision. That's how you create the new neural pathway, right? Murphy goes on to say, you can change your thoughts by choosing love over fear, goodwill over ill will, joy over sadness, and peace over disquiet. The instant you receive the stimulus of a negative thought, supplant it with the mood of love and goodwill. Fill your mind with love, then the negative thoughts cannot enter. If you have trouble maintaining a positive perspective when you open your eyes in the morning, say to yourself, I choose, and then insert whatever. So his example is, I choose happiness today. And I love this. He's not saying like all the time, but programming the mind. I choose happiness today. I choose success today. Right? I choose right action today. I choose love and goodwill for all today. I choose peace today. I choose abundance today. I choose, right? I mean, we can, make those choices, decisions all the time. He said, suppose you want to get rid of a destructive habit. Assume a comfortable position, relax your body, be still, get into your sleepy state, right? Deep breathing, and say over and over again in a lullaby, I am completely free from, and then the habit. So I am completely free from, and then harmony and peace of mind reign supreme. Harmony and peace of mind reign supreme. So I am completely from. So for me, I started this when I realized how judgmental I was years ago. I was like, holy shit. I come from a very judgmental family. So I used to say, I'm completely free from judgment. Harmony and peace of mind reign supreme. I am completely free from, and you can do it even the habit of like, I am completely free from mindless eating, right? Or overeating, or emotional eating, or I am completely free from stress and anxiety. I am completely free from poverty. I am completely free from. So you can name either the habit or the thing, the illusion that you want to let go of. He said, repeat this slowly, quietly, and lovingly for 5 or 10 minutes, morning and night. Each time you repeat the words, the emotional value becomes greater. When the urge comes up to repeat the negative habit, repeat the above affirmation out loud. Right? For years and years and years, I had sticky notes written with different affirmations in different parts of my house, and on mirrors, where my coffee cup is, there would be affirmations there, and then I would change them. I didn't leave them there for months and months and months, but probably a month at a time. And then I would change them out, and I would change them out, and change them out. Right? And Jacob, I saw Jacob yesterday. He was in Calgary picking up his girlfriend to move to Victoria with him, and this came up, that he remembers all of these sticky notes being in the house everywhere. And Maya, his girlfriend, has grown up in a much different environment, so she's very anxious all the time, high stress levels, right? And he keeps on saying to her, things will always work out. And she's like, how do you know? And he's like, I just know things will always work out. And so yesterday they had a bit of a bump in their moving plan. Her parents were supposed to take some things. They decided they weren't going to. And so Jacob wasn't comfortable driving through the mountains with the back of a trailer, like a trailer. And so I, of course, coincidentally enough, happened to be driving, through Calgary yesterday. And so he messaged me and said, I know you're coming to Victoria in a couple of weeks. Would you be willing to bring some stuff with you, and we'll just load up your vehicle right now? I'm like, yeah, absolutely can do that. And so Maya's experience was, she had been stressing for hours, and Jacob had said to her, it'll be okay, like, we'll figure it out. When he realized that he knew he didn't want to take a trailer, they tried to put everything in the Jeep, but it was too full and he wouldn't be able to see out the back, and he didn't want to drive through the mountains not being able to see out the back. And so as she's getting herself really worked up, and Jacob was like, oh shit, wait a minute, mom's driving through, she'll help. And Maya was like, we can't ask her to do that, why would she do that, like, right, the way that she was been conditioned. And so I said, yeah, absolutely, I can do that. So I meet them, at a Starbucks outside of Calgary. I just said, the only thing is I would prefer not to drive in, because she lives like central Calgary. I really don't want to drive into Calgary. If it has to be that way, but I'm just giving you my preference. They're like, no, we'll bring the stuff. So, they met me, and she said to me, Jacob was telling me the story about all of these like words, and she said they're called affirmations. And I said, yes. And she said, he's always telling me that things will work out. And I said, because they do. They may not be exactly what we thought. They might look completely different than we thought, but things will always, yeah, they do. And she said it's just like beyond my she said, but it's always been beyond my imagination. She said, but even this experience, and she said, like, Jacob didn't get stressed out at all. He just knew he would figure it out, like it would be okay. And I said to her, yes, because things always work out. Things always happen for us and not to us. And so it was interesting, watching someone who's not been around this world of that I've been in for a long time, and that, my kids were raised in, to have them kind of like start to, like, bit by bit, every time she meets me, there's something more that I can see, that like another light bulb. And it reminded me of the story today, because I was in this book I was reading, the key to your health, wealth, prosperity, and success is your capacity to choose. Choose whatsoever are true, lovely, noble, and godlike. Choose thoughts, ideas, and images that heal, bless, inspire, dignify, and elevate your whole being. Now here he's talking about choosing the image, right, of what that looks like. And so when we think about, and just even using this story with Maya and Jacob, Jacob knowing that things would work out, right? And he's just kept on imagining and envisioning that the trip would be one of ease and flow. Like he's, he said, I pictured that I came to the mountains, there was no big deal, there was not a lot of traffic. I'm going back and everything is good, and there's like, we're excited and we're happy. And so we can make those decisions, we can make those choices. It's your ego, your conditioning that goes, how am I going to make that happen? Well, how? Well, what would that look like? But how? That's what keeps people stuck, is wanting to know the how before the decision is even made to be, right? The doing, the how will unfold when the decision is made. And what I'm starting to be reminded of is one decision can be made and the outcome might be the exact opposite decision, because along the way you may see, oh, maybe I really don't want that, right? And if we don't get caught up in but I made a decision, I have to follow through because I made the decision. Yeah, you are following through, but maybe with a different decision because you realize that decision, right? That would be like in life. We do that all the time, but I said I was going to do it, right? My word is my bond. Okay, and that's very noble. But if you looked at that from a marketing perspective, and you are building a marketing plan, you have a strategic plan, you're taking action, so you're applying all the tactics to it. And just before you're going to pull the plug on $1 million, let's say, ad spend, and you realize that it's not going to quite work because of this, do you just still go through with it because you made the decision to go through with it? Or do you pull back, reassess, and maybe not even do what you were going to follow through, right? And this is not meant as a political statement, but this is just what came to me as the example is, Rob and I were talking this morning that Bud Light, their last marketing campaign didn't go well for them. And they used to be the top selling beer in the world. I think Rob was saying this morning that they lost, I think he said $40 billion since then. So not million, but $1 billion. They are now one of the lowest revenue generating beers. Coors Light now is #1. And so as I'm giving this example, I'm thinking, what if that marketing director realized the minute they the minute they were to launch the actual ad campaign and realized, what if this is not, what if I shouldn't do it this way? But said, no, I committed to it. And the ads are built, the ads are already made, everything is ready, so I have to go through it. What if she had that thought and rather than stopping it and getting egg on her face, I think I've heard that one, right? But went through it, and the company is, right, $40 billion less revenue. She doesn't have a job. She got fired or put on leave, I think 3 weeks after. And so it's a silly example, but is it really? How many times have I know that sometimes when I'm like, no, it has to be this way because I said it was going to be this way. Really? What if I gave myself the grace to change my mind? I made a decision, I made a choice, but I changed my mind. Now we can think about that in lots of different areas, but think about it in the terms of, if you have a belief and you believe it, but the outcome of your belief is your Groundhog Day. What would happen if you changed your belief? Can you change your mind? Can you change your mind on that belief? Can you make a new decision? And what would the new outcome be? And so we can become playful, right, with this, and an extreme in some of the examples, but think about it, the different applications of these points in your life. And what new outcome would you desire? So, all right. Thank you so much for being here with me today, truly. It's awesome. Super excited. I'm in a course. Actually, Tracy and I are taking the same course for the next 5 days. We're in an angel empowerment healing course. So I'm really excited to see what unfolds from that I'll be able to share over the next couple of days. Love you. Talk to you all tomorrow.